Hey everyone, and welcome. We're diving into a topic today that's, well, it's kind of become essential in our digital world. We do everything online these days, right? Banking, shopping, connecting with friends. But how much do we really think about how all that information, our information, is actually protected?
It's easy to just not think about it, right? Until something goes wrong. But yeah, that protection is where this idea of cyber attestation comes in.
Cyber attestation. So is this kind of like, I don't know, a cybersecurity report card for companies or something?
Yeah, you could think of it that way. It's a way for organizations to demonstrate, prove their commitment to cybersecurity. And in this deep dive, we're going to dig into why that matters, especially with, wow, you see the headlines. Data breaches are becoming way too common.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems like every other week another company is announcing some big breach.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing you right, cyber attestation is what? A way to build more trust in this digital world. Exactly. Think about it. You're about to buy something online, about to put your credit card info into a website. Wouldn't you feel better knowing they've had, like, a third-party expert come in and check their securities up to scratch?
Oh, for sure. Like checking online reviews before you book a hotel or something. You want to see some proof, not just take their word for it. Okay, but let's back up a sec. What is cyber attestation in like practical terms? What's actually involved?
So it boils down to 5 key things. First, the assessment is done by an independent third party.
Right.
Someone who has no stake in the outcome.
Gotcha. So no one can fudge the results. Makes sense. What's next?
Right. So second, it verifies that the company or organization, whatever, is actually following the security standards and regulations that apply to their industry.
Okay, so it's not just like, oh, we think we're doing things right. There are actual rules they got to follow.
Yep. And then third, it goes deep into their risk management. So are they actually good at identifying vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and then fixing them before someone can exploit them?
Starting to sound a bit like I don't know, a car safety inspection. Got to make sure everything's working right before you hit the road.
Exactly. And just like your car needs those regular checkups, cybersecurity is not a one-time thing. That's the 4th key element. Ongoing monitoring. Got to stay on top of those evolving threats, right?
Makes sense. Always got to be one step ahead of the bad guys. Okay, what's that 5th point?
Transparency. Organizations can actually share their cyber attestation reports. Yeah, so everyone can see they're serious about security.
Huh. So it's like a badge of honor they can wear. Look how secure we are. Okay, I get why companies might care about this. But why should I care? I mean, I'm just one person. How does cyber attestation actually affect me?
Well, think about all those data breaches we hear about. Those affect real people. Your data could be stolen, your identity compromised.
Yeah, no one wants to deal with that. It's a huge hassle. Can you give us some like real world examples of what can happen when cybersecurity goes wrong?
Oh, plenty. I mean, there was that major retailer a while back. Didn't prioritize security. Hackers got in and stole millions of credit card numbers. Financial losses for the company, sure, but also for their customers. Lawsuits, damage to their reputation. It was bad.
Yeah, that's a nightmare scenario. So cyber attestation is like what, a way to try and prevent that kind of thing from happening?
Exactly. It's about being proactive, not reactive. I mean, on the flip side, there was this healthcare provider that embraced cyber attestation fully. They went through the whole audit, implemented strong security, made the report public even, built a lot of trust with their patients, gave them a competitive edge even.
Okay, so there are real benefits, not just avoiding the bad stuff, but actually gaining something from it.
Right. Enhanced security, compliance with regulations, that all matters. But it's also about that trust and credibility.
Yeah.
And like you said, potentially even a competitive advantage.
Interesting. So if a company decides to do this, to go for cyber attestation, what does that process actually look like for them? What do they have to do?
Well, it's a multi-step process, but think of it like a health checkup.
Yeah.
For your organization's cybersecurity. Got to make sure everything is in tip-top shape.
Okay, so walk us through those steps. What can an organization expect when they, embark on this journey?
All right, first up, pre-audit preparation. Gathering all their security docs, policies, risk management stuff, like getting your paperwork in order, right?
So getting organized, showing the auditors they have a foundation in place. Makes sense. What's next?
Okay, so next up is the actual security assessment. This is where the independent auditor comes in, examines everything thoroughly. Systems, practices, they'll do things like vulnerability scans and penetration testing.
Penetration testing. That sounds intense, like they're trying to hack in.
Exactly. Trying to find weaknesses before the real bad guys do.
Wow. Okay, so they really put those security measures to the test. What happens after the assessment?
The auditor puts together a detailed report, Outlines what they found, any vulnerabilities, and also, really importantly, gives recommendations for improvement.
So it's not just a pass or fail thing. They get actual guidance on how to make things better.
Right. Actionable steps they can take. Now, if they meet the standards, they get their certification, their badge of honor. But it doesn't end there.
You mentioned ongoing monitoring earlier, so what does that look like in practice?
Regular check-ins, updates, maybe follow-up audits. Got to make sure that security posture stays strong over time.
So always striving for improvement, can't just rest on your laurels in the world of cybersecurity, it seems.
Nope, not at all. You got to stay one step ahead.
This has been really insightful. I'm curious, though, how do you see cyber attestation impacting businesses, industries, the bigger picture in the future? Where do you think this is all headed?
I think we're just scratching the surface, honestly.
Yeah.
As we move more and more digital, trust and transparency are going to be absolutely essential, right?
Mhm.
Cyber attestation offers a way to prove that commitment in a way that's tangible, not just words.
Yeah, it's almost like a universal language of trust is emerging online.
I like that. It's about evidence. It's about backing it up with those independent audits.
This makes me think about due diligence. In the past, companies would just rely on questionnaires or self-assessments to gauge a vendor's security. This is a whole new level.
Oh, yeah. It's about having proof, not just promises. And it lets companies be proactive. Instead of waiting for a disaster to happen and then trying to scramble, they can build trust from the ground up.
So do you think some industries are going to be more impacted by this than others? Where do you see it being really crucial?
Oh, absolutely. Industry is dealing with super sensitive data, healthcare, finance, government. The stakes are just incredibly high there.
Yeah, if those systems get breached, it can have huge consequences. We're talking people's health records, financial assets, national security, not something to mess around with.
Nope, not at all. And as those industries rely more and more on technology, that need for strong cybersecurity, backed up by something like cyber attestation, is only going to grow.
It's almost like a domino effect, right? One critical industry gets compromised and it ripples through the whole system.
That's a great point. Cybersecurity isn't just an IT issue anymore. It affects everything. Cyber attestation could play a huge role in building a more secure future for everyone.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation. You've really driven home the importance of this.
Glad to hear it. It's something I'm pretty passionate about, and I think, honestly, it's essential knowledge for anyone who's, living in the digital world today.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, before we wrap up for today, let's recap some of the key benefits we talked about. For companies, cyber attestation means better security, compliance with the rules, more trust, more credibility, and maybe even a leg up on the competition.
And for individuals, it's peace of mind. Knowing the companies you're dealing with online are actually taking your security seriously.
Makes sense. It's a win-win, really. So for our listeners, if you're wondering if this applies to you, I'd say think about the impact it could have on your industry, your business, even your personal life. It's worth learning more about.
Definitely. The more we all understand about cybersecurity, the better off we'll be.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to staying safe online. Okay, before we go, I want to leave everyone with a thought-provoking question to ponder. How do you think cyber attestation will evolve in the future? What might it look like 5, 10 years from now?
Ooh, good question. The threats are constantly changing, so it has to adapt, right? Maybe we'll see more specialized certifications for different industries, different levels of risk. What do you think?
Yeah, I could see that happening. Maybe even using new technology to make those reports even more secure, more tamper-proof, like blockchain or something. Who knows? It's a fast-moving field. Definitely something we'll be keeping an eye on. But for now, that's all the time we have for our deep dive into cyber attestation.
It's a multi-step process, but think of it like a health checkup for your organization's cybersecurity. Got to make sure everything is in tip-top shape.